Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us here. This is Rick, and I appreciate your time. And we're excited here to roll out Employee Push. Before we kind of delve into anything, though, these are kind of the ground rules that I think are helpful that we go through to start. Is copies of the slides will obviously be shared afterwards, including whatever Q&A we come up with as well during the time. And a recording is being done for this webinar as well, so we'll be able to share that out too. If you do have questions, please use the question panel inside of the GoToWebinar window. That'll enable me to easily kind of go through one by one at the end. I'll read out each question and then obviously provide you with the answer. And we'll also distribute copies of them, the copies of question and answer afterwards as well. I know I have this scheduled for 30 minutes. I will be available after that time as well. So if you do have any questions and you want to kind of catch me out afterwards, I will be available. So let's kind of dive in, and just to kind of recap for anyone who didn't join us for our cash requirement push webinar a few weeks ago, these are truly our inspirations for push. We kind of see that obviously there's been a trend to a lot more mobile devices and a lot more, instant notification type of systems, whether it's Twitter or whether it's a Facebook update. We also think that making things simple and easy, just as Apple and 37 Signals do as well, is a benefit to everybody. So these were kind of the inspirations of push. And again, I'm just kind of reviewing what we talked about a few weeks ago on our cash requirement push webinar. We're not going to go through the cash requirement push today. We're really going to focus on the employee push. Push, again, is giving your clients instant access to essential information which will be delivered to any cell phone. And I think, David Gallagher kind of said it best when he said to me, push is truly the next generation of reporting for business owners, and it is. And that's where the cash requirement push notification comes in. But now we're expanding that to employees. So it's not just pushes available for the business owners to get payroll information. It is going to be expanded with employee push to the employees themselves. So why did we come up with some of this employee push functionality? Well, I look at myself. When I get paid, all I really care about is what's the net pay on my check, how much is getting put into my bank account. And I really do think if you poll the majority of employees across your clients, you're going to receive the same sort of answer and feeling that I have. We're really just concerned about, again, what's my net pay and what's going into my bank account. So push is going to give you the capability to provide this information to employees as either a text or an email. So just like the cash requirement push notification that can send the cash required amount to the business owner, push will be able to send to employees their net pay and their direct deposits if they have direct deposits set up. And this can occur on or before check date. So just like today within File Guardian, you can schedule pay stub delivery to be on or before check date. The same thing will occur with the employee push. So on or before check date, the employee could receive that text or the email with their net pay and direct deposits. And don't worry, the delivery time will be time zone specific. It will happen at 9 a.m. your local time. So for those on the West Coast, don't worry, we're not going to be waking up employees with text message alerts in the middle of the night. They will be appropriately timed based upon your time zone. So again, it's just the essence of push. Imagine that on check date, you sit there and your phone buzzes, oh, here's my net pay amount, and this is what's going to put into my bank account. It's a huge advantage that no one else in the payroll industry has that we're being able to bring here today for you to offer your clients. So again, how does it work? It's really pretty simple. You're going to create an employee push subscription. You're going to process the payrolls just as like you normally do, and the employee will receive the notification directly on their cell phone with their net pay and also with their direct deposits if they have any direct deposits on their check. So this is kind of the time when we're going to actually do the demo. And what I'm actually going to do is I want to show you this in action. And I think the toughest thing is when I show you this in action is I can't physically show you my cell phone. So that's why I'm going to ask for a volunteer who would like to be kind of an employee here, because I'm going to simulate a payroll running. I'm going to set you up as an employee push recipient. It's going to go to your cell phone, and then you're going to get the message. Now, I will put one disclaimer. I will need to enter your cell phone in here over the GoToMeeting panel. So if you want to be our demo, be our volunteer here, just put your cell phone number in the question panel. The first one that does it, I'm going to select you. I'm going to open up your mic, and we'll kind of go from there. So let me bring this over. By the way, we are going to be releasing a new version of File Guardian, and you can kind of see right here that it is a new login page. I was sick and tired of the old login page, so we will have a new one. Now, I got a bunch of cell phone numbers in here. The first one was Jeremy. Jeremy, I'm going to open up your phone line here because you're going to be the one that's going to tell everybody what you're experiencing. So let me find you in our list. Here he is. Hey, Jeremy, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Perfect. So I'm gonna set you up here. Don't mind me logging into the system. I'm gonna set you up as you're gonna be the employee Richard Brown. Is that okay?
Sounds good to me, bud.
Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna go to the Employees tab. Now you can see the Employees tab looks a little bit different because I have push activated, and I'm gonna add my new employee rule. So Richard Brown is employee 6741. I'm just going to put in my email address or a fake email address here. Okay, Jeremy, I'm going to put in your cell phone number. Everybody look away because Jeremy's cell phone number is going to go live out here. Okay, Jeremy, did I type that in right?
Yep.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm also going to set you up for the SMS NetPay subscription for push. Okay, so now Jeremy's set up with his cell phone, and I'm going to simulate a payroll being run right now just using through one of my simulators here. And what we should see is once the payroll file goes through and it gets processed, what I'm hoping, Jeremy, is your phone rings. Because this payroll is a prior check date, the notification will go out to you right away. But let's wait a second or two for that to come through here.
Got it.
Okay, so can you just read out what that message says?
It says your net pay for 4/6 of $3,819.48 is scheduled for deposit to your bank account ending in 845. Thanks.
Perfect. Appreciate it. And Jeremy, can you just reply to that with the word pay? Because what I want to show everybody is just like we talked before about the cash requirement being able to deal with inbound requests, the same thing will happen for net pay. If the employee at any point in time texts pay to your push number, they can get text back with their latest checks, net pay, and direct deposit amount. So were you able to get that done, Jeremy?
Yeah, it came back already with the same statement as up top.
Perfect. Appreciate it. So that was the last paycheck that we ran for this company, so that's the one that we have in there. Jeremy, appreciate the help.
Thanks, bud.
So again, that's the essence of push. Payrolls are going to process. You can set up the employee to receive a text or an email with their net pay amount and also with their direct deposits. Like we just kind of showed with Jeremy, push will also support inbound requests. So the employee can text pay to your local push number, and push will identify this is the latest check that we've processed for them and send them back instantly their latest net pay and direct deposit amount as of the last payroll that processed. Now, we know the employee may be set up with varying direct deposits. I would like to think it would be simple, but I understand it's never simple in the payroll industry, and people may have multiple direct deposits, people may have no direct deposits. So what I have here is these are the different message formats that we've configured right now based upon how many direct deposits are set up for the employee. So you can see if the employee has no direct deposit set up, this is the message that they're going to receive. Your net pay for whatever the check date is this amount. If the employee has one direct deposit where the amount matches their net pay amount, they're going to receive the message just like Jeremy had, where it tells you this is your net pay for this check date, here's the amount, and it's scheduled for deposit into your bank account. And you can kind of see the other variations here as well. So based upon, again, how the employee is set up and what their net pay is and then what their direct deposit setup is, one of these messages will be chosen and sent out to the employee. Again, on or before check date at 9 a.m. your local time. Now, in speaking with a lot of you, we realize that sometimes you like to, lay things out a little bit differently for the employee than you would for the employer. So under the My Account Push area, after you've activated Push, I have some highlighted areas here, because what you're going to be able to do is define a different signature to be appended to the push email or the push text message when it's going to an employee versus when it's going to the employer. We know sometimes you don't want your name in front of the employee, so that's why you can create a different employee push signature. So you can see here, my employee one just says thanks, versus my employer one says thanks, Contoso, payroll, etc. Also, we know you're not going to want to be dealing with all the maintenance of this. So by default, you can determine whether or not you want your client administrators, these are the people that maintain your employee rules, so these are the payroll administrators of the clients that set up the employees to receive their pay stubs and W-2s and all through FileGuardian. You can define on a global level whether or not you would like them to also be able to administer push. Now, don't worry. You can put it at the global level, and then on a client-by-client basis, you can override that push administration. So you may say, by default, let the client do push administration, but for specific clients, you can turn that off. But this is your global level here. I just kind of mentioned who maintains employee push. You can do it, or your client administrators can do it. What you can see is I put in here a couple of different screenshots, your view versus their view. It pretty much looks the same. These green dots are pretty eye-catching to let you know whether or not that employee is set up with NetPay Push or whether they're not. And you can kind of guess right now, maybe by seeing this, is you could set up an employee just for NetPay Push and not even for pay stub delivery. So you have that capability now to kind of really configure the employee to say, do you want push? Do you want NetPay? And you can turn them on or off. This is a detail view. When your team goes to edit an employee now, the detail view will change. And you can see on the right-hand side is a section specifically for push. So any existing employees, you can easily set them up for push. You can convert them from text delivery to email delivery, back and forth. Pretty much the same thing that you can do with the cash requirement push notifications today. And your client administrators, if you've enabled them to administer push, they will now have a push menu item where they can maintain employee level push as well. So there's a lot of flexibility, a lot of power here. And I think, again, I go back to it. When I get paid, I only care about what's my net pay and what's going in my bank account. And I'm sure there's a lot of employees out there that are the same way. The good thing is you're going to be the only ones out there in the industry that have this capability. And it's all delivered here through push. So I put some questions here that I thought that may come up. And I'm going to go through these one by one. Does an employee need to have pay stub delivery to have a NetPay push subscription? And the answer is no. The pay stub delivery is not required. You can have both. You can bundle them together. It's up to you to configure it how you'd like. Will your team and the client administrators be able to maintain employee cell phone numbers now? And the answer to that is yes. we have opened up the capability for you and client administrators to maintain employee cell phone numbers. Good news is we store them encrypted securely in our database, and we will never show you the full number after it's been saved. So if I go back to my edit screen here, and if I go into my setup for Jeremy, you can see, I'm going to highlight it. It's a little bit in a small font. We're only ever going to show you the last four of someone's cell phone number for security reasons. You can change it if you need, but the last four will only ever display from here on out. Will the employee import support net pay subscriptions? And the answer is not today. I know most of you use the employee import to set up your groups of employees for pay stub delivery. It is not available today. The employee import will not support net pay subscriptions, but we're planning on some ways to try to automate this in the future. So it's planned. We do have some ways that we're working on to try to automate a lot of the employee maintenance. It's just not ready today. When the employee is set up for their push subscription, will they be notified? And the answer is yes. When you or the client administrator sets the employee up for a push subscription, they will be notified on, hey, your subscription was created, here's what you should expect, and if you need to access your push history in the future because you've deleted your messages, here's how you can access your push history. That will all be automated for you. So again, if you or the client sets up an employee push subscription, they'll receive an email immediately letting them know that that's been created. Can the client administration of push be configured client by client? And I kind of spoke to this before, and the answer is yes. You will set a global level to say whether or not by default you want clients to be able to administer it. And then on a client by client level, you can override that whether or not you give the client the ability to administer net pay push subscriptions for their employees. Does anyone else in the industry have anything like push? Not that I'm aware of. So I think this employee level push coupled with the cash requirement push is truly unique, something that's truly innovative in the industry, something that you'll have that no one else will have. And the other question is, because we know that we're going to get some worries about this, has the File Guardian login page changed? Yes. You will see that on Monday. It'll be that new page that I brought up. Frankly, I got a little bit tired of the old page, so you will see the new page look something like this, a little bit cleaner and out there for you. I wanted to recap real quick the schedule that we published for push when we released the cash requirement push notification back in February. You can see we have that cash requirement. We did say the first quarter the employee net pay for pay choice and MPay will be available. We hit that date. The second quarter we're planning what we call push message extensions. This will allow you to create some additional messaging tied to certain push messages. One of the feedback that we got on the original cash requirement push message was to include the debit date of that amount into the message itself. Well, sometimes the debit date is found on these reports, sometimes they're not found on the reports. So you're going to be able to create a specific push message extension if you'd like to add something like the debit date to the cash requirement push notification. We're going to be working on push for evolution in the second quarter. We're also going to be working on PTO balance push notifications for employees in the second quarter, and then you can kind of see some longer range plans as well. I think the key to this is we're on schedule. We've been hitting our marks. The push message extensions are next, and then we're going to kind of work through our list this way. Here's again a recap of the push fee schedules. And while I have this up here, I'm going to read through the one or two questions that have come in. If you do have a question now, please type it in. If I didn't explain something or you have a specific question about a particular feature, let me know. So a good question is, if I just have one or two clients that I want them to be able to administer the push rules, do I have to enable it for all first? The answer to that is, no, what I would do is, I'm going to actually show you. If you only want to enable push administration for certain clients, what I would do is something like this. So I would log in as you. And under my account, when I get to the push area, I would make sure that my client push administration is disabled. So I'm going to disable that now. Then what I would do is, for the clients that I would like them to be able to administer push, I would go into their rules, and on the Employees tab, I would enable the push administration here. So what I've done is, I've disabled push administration across all of my clients, but I just set up this specific client to be able to administer push. A question came in. Will the billing data be available in the PayChoice billing records so we can set up a price code for this? Great question. We don't have a direct tie into the PayChoice billing system, but our reporting area will break out the fees that we're charging on a client-by-client basis to show you, hey, client ABC had this many push notifications, client EFG had this many push notifications, just like we do today for pay stub delivery and for payroll report delivery. I have heard that there may be an import available in PayChoice, and I'm working with the folks at Payroll Network to try to get some of that information so that maybe we can provide you with an automated import file, but we're still in a discovery phase for that today. So this is kind of what I wanted to go over here today. You know, I'm personally really excited about push. I'm going to push our payroll provider to set me up with push notifications, because again, all I care about is what am I getting paid and what's going into my bank account. Again, I think it's another huge innovation. It's something that we're excited to bring to you. I'm going to stick around for some other questions here. Please feel free to type them in. If you want to give me a call afterwards, give me a call after this. I'd be happy to speak with you. If you haven't done the cash requirement push and want to learn a little bit about that, let me know. Pretty simple. The client can get the cash requirement amount emailed or texted to them the moment the payroll processed, just like what we saw here, but it's just a cash requirement amount for the payroll. A question came in and says, will this work with Encore? We will have plans to make this work with Encore. Right now, we don't have many active clients running Encore, so we haven't built the integration pieces for that yet. But we do have the design that will be in place that will be able to support this for Encore as well. Any other questions out there? This will be live on Monday. So when you log into File Guardian on Monday, you will see the new login page. You will see this available as well. A good question. Can you disable inbound messages? The answer to that is yes. We can disable all inbound message processing for your push account. If you'd like that, let us know. We will set that up when you activate push. And just so you know, any inbound message will not be supported then when it comes to push. The employee or the employer, if they text your push number, will not receive a response back. Question, is the pricing per message per client or service bureau? The pricing is per push message that we deliver. So if the client is set up with 5 different employee net pay push subscriptions, that will result in 5 different push messages being created, which is 5 charges. So that would count as a push message itself. Question, can you use merge codes within the push message extensions? And yes, the answer is when we release push message extensions, merge codes will be supported. Merge codes are not supported inside of the SMS signatures that we have available for you today. Another question is, can inbound messages be disabled per company? The answer to that is no. Really, we're at the mercy of our text message provider, and it's really an all or nothing thing with them. So we can turn off the inbound message processing for your entire account, or you have to leave it on for your entire account. There's no way that we can do it on a per client basis. Another question is, can an employee response stop, or will they need to notify their employer? The answer to that is really both could happen, but the preferred method is the latter, notify their employer to stop. They can respond stop to your push message. The problem is that just tells our subscriber, our provider, our text message provider to stop sending message to them. It will not stop the system from still generating the messages that need to be sent to them. So the preferred way is the employee would like to no longer receive their push messages. They should notify their employer. And I said before about the email that the client receives when their push subscription is created. They have their specific text inside of there. So here's an example of what the employee received here. So what they do know is to opt out of push, contact your company payroll administrator. So that is included in the email that is sent to the employee when their subscription is created. That was something that our legal team required us to do. Sorry, here's another question about billing. The counts. The count of messages. This pricing is across the entire service bureau. So let me rephrase. You're billed on messages across your entire service bureau for the month. So if you had 5 companies, 5 clients that were set up for push, and each client had 5 employees, so that would be 25 push messages would be generated per payroll that ran. That would mean 25 messages for your entire service bureau. So that's how the pricing breaks out here. Any other question? I know I probably may have not answered all those questions 100%. So if you do have something you want to throw at me afterwards, give me a call. Let's walk through it together so I make sure I give you the specific details that you need. Again, if you're not using the cash requirement push and want to learn about it, give me a call. It's a really great feature. Same thing. When the payroll runs, the company administrator can be sent their cash requiring amount as a text or an email message. A question came in. It says, can a person request a pay message more than once per day, per pay? The answer is yes. At any point in time, if someone does text pay to your push phone number, they can text as many times as they'd like. There is no restrictions on stopping that. Again, because of the way that our provider works for text messaging, we can turn off inbound processing, but it's an all or nothing thing for your entire service bureau. If you'd like to kind of take push for a test drive, now is the optimal time. It's completely free until April 1st. So if you want to kind of set up a test client or two and get it running, 100% free. There's nothing you'll be invoiced for that time. After April 1st, if you do not opt out, that is when the push fees will start accumulating, and you would see your first one on your May invoice through us. So any other comments, feedback, questions, please let me know. Give me a call if you'd like. Shoot me an email. Again, I'm really excited about Employee Push. I think it's something that's truly innovative. No one else in the industry has. I think for a sales perspective, it adds another huge innovation that you can offer your clients that no one else in the industry can. It's a great sales and marketing tool. For that, appreciate everybody's time. Any questions, let me know. If not, have a great day. Have a great weekend, and we'll be in touch. So thanks.